Hello and welcome to Story Time with I Have Issues. This story was inspired by my video about writing ideas, asking for your abstract writing ideas so I could write a story. So this one is from Winysteak. It's one that he or she suggested. And so he or she suggested a pair of running shoes missing their soles, S-O-L-E-S, soles, the insoles that go in the shoe. So I wrote the running shoes. So are you ready? Prepare yourselves. Henkel, Beaufort, Wagonston, Henry for short, or just to replace that god-awful name. Loved his body. He was fit, 6'3", 225 pounds, a six-pack, strong legs, white teeth, a god, in other words. And he was Greek. That pretty much guaranteed his appearance would be breathtaking, and it was. Henry was not all that likable, mainly because he was so arrogant about his appearance. He used to tell his co-workers that would listen to his drabble that he could get any woman he wanted, even Sarah Jessica Parker. Behind his back, Nancy and Greta and Osterna, another really weird name, would gossip about him in the office lounge/lunchroom. Behind the rolling eyes were oogling eyes. The women couldn't quite see past his beauty to get to the real Henry. So unfortunately, if one of them, and there were many, who he asked out on a date, they always said yes. But he wasn't always so unappealing internally. At one time, maybe 6 months ago, he was nice, kind, polite, and man, the ladies really wanted to date him, marry him, imprison him in their basements. There would be no one else like him, ever. No one could think of any one thing that happened 6 months ago that would have made such a dramatic disposal of all that was good in him, except one. He started running for exercise. Every single day at lunchtime. He'd wolf down his liquid yogurt in a tube, grab his Spring Mountain, Clear Lake, whatever stupid name it was called, water, throw on his running shorts in the men's bathroom, change from his leather loafers to his new Converse All-Stars tennis shoes, and run out of the offices and onto the street. And there he ran and ran, just around the block. But like 40 ridiculous times. He'd come back in the office all sweaty, which only caused the women to not focus on what they were paid for even more. The only bad thing about him, well, one of the bad things, was that he'd take off his tennis shoes at his desk. Everyone could smell his horrible feet. He never wore socks, by the way, so you can imagine the stink. He would call out to all of us who were at the moment holding our noses and comfort us. I just bought a package of insoles that are deodorized, so from now on my feet won't smell. How do they work? Asked Byron, the computer analyst. Oh, by the way, Henry is the CEO. Figures. Well, Byron, Henry answered patiently and kindly, because this was at the beginning, before Henry became a jerk. You get 6 months worth of insoles. So every day you don't feel fresh, you just change them out. The old for the new, the smelly for the sweet aroma. Everyone in hearing distance nodded their heads, sweet smiles rising from lips to eyes. By the end of the 6 months, most of the co-workers would have rather had his stinky feet and have a nice personality than the lavender feet and be a moronic nincompoop. So as time went on in those 6 months, Henry evolved into the idiot he was today. But not just an idiot. He became mean, telling one lady she was fat, which she was, but still, and telling the janitor that he should sweep himself up with the garbage. He stole food from the lunchroom refrigerator, then would lie about it. He'd usually blame Byron, whose desk was closest to the lunchroom. "See?" Henry would exclaim, pointing his finger at Byron. "He sits right there. When we are busy doing our work, he could have easily slipped in there and stole Ostentatious bagel with cream cheese." Osterna spoke up. "My name is not Ostentatia, Mr. Wagenston." "Whatever." He dismissed her, waving a cruel hand. Byron one day decided to look at the insoles in Henry's office during one of his runs. He carefully opened the box, took out an insole, closed the box quietly, then pushed it back under Henry's desk. Byron then raced out of the office, into the elevator, punched EE for extra basement, something no one else knew about, and stopped 45 floors below where he had been. An unknown floor to everyone but Byron, a.k.a. Superman. His scientific laboratory where his sidekick Robin, a.k.a. well, Robin's her name, waited to test the insole under her microscope. The test results were back in exactly 36 seconds. "Yep," Robin declared with integrity. "This is a soul-sucking insole." "A what?" "You heard me, mister. It has been sucking Henry's soul from him day by day by day. Every time he puts on a new pair of insoles, his soul gets sucked from him even more. He's lucky he can even chew food at this point." Byron didn't know what to say, so in his usual awkwardness, he simply kissed Robin and thanked her. Robin blushed, kissed him back, then they got down to business. How do they get Henry to stop using the soul-sucking insoles? "This may seem too easy," Byron began. "Go on," Robin urged. "What if, and I'm not saying I know everything, right? Is it possible that we could simply exchange the insoles he has in the box below his desk?" "I'm with you so far," Robin said with all seriousness. "With new ones that don't suck souls." "Brilliant!" Robin yelled. "I'll go right now and buy some insoles from the large store on the corner." "With or without your cloak?" "It's just on the corner, Robin," Byron said, and off he went. He was able to get to the corner store and back before Henry got back from his run. He ran into Henry's office, got the box out, switched the bad for the good insoles, put the box back, ran to his office, threw the awful insoles in a black garbage bag, and called the janitor upstairs to get the trash right away, which he did. Everything went smoothly, which is good because I don't have much more time to devote to writing this story. Henry came back, went to his office, and traded out the evil insoles for the good ones. The change was instantaneous. He walked out into the outer office, stared at everyone, and began to weep. All the women raced to get to him first so that they could provide comfort. The men came around, patted him on the back. The women hugged and kissed him. It was a beautiful moment. Once Henry was completely healed from his ordeal, Byron explained what had happened to make him such a jerk. "I was a jerk?" Byron laughed. "Oh, heck yeah. You were stupid and careless and mean. A real ogre." He laughed some more. "Thank you, Byron, for being so honest, for being so daring as to change out the insoles to make sure I was no longer a jerk. Henry smiled. Of course, Byron said, bowing. You're fired, Henry said in a quiet voice. Oh, you're fired, Henry said in a quiet voice. What? You don't get to call me a jerk and still work here. But you can't fire me. I'm Superman. Whatever, dude. Henry called the security, but before they could get a hold of Byron, he jumped through the plate glass window on the 45th floor and flew to the roof of the skyscraper across the street. Byron did one of those football touchdown dances, mocking Henry. Henry was in shock, taken to a mental hospital, given new insoles, which unfortunately were the soul-sucking kind, and lived out his days handcuffed to his portable toilet, eating Jell-O and cereal mashed together because he no longer had teeth, drinking powdered milk from a bottle, and calling out for Superman every single stupid day. Man, what a jerk. The end.